Hello again. This is the Watering Man. Now, we're in John chapter 4, verse 35. And I'm going to speak about the harvest. Okay? Before I start doing the spiritual toolboxes for this verse. These are all dealing with this verse. The ones I've been dealing with. They're telling about this, okay? So let's start out reading John chapter 4, verse 35 from the King James Version, okay? Say not ye, there are 4 months, and then cometh harvest. Behold, I say unto you, lift up your eyes, and look on the fields, for they are white already to harvest. Wow. Okay? Now, let's speak about this harvest. In this verse, harvest is used 2 times. The first time, it has ha right before harvest, which is the ball, a definite article, and it's referring to the ball of thinking in your mind, one thought process. God's bringing it up to where it's like white. The red, blue, and green light becomes the fullness of light, the existence of all light. And God's enlightenment. He's enlightening us as we go 1, 2 to 4 to 8. He's giving that increase. We can't do one jump. Okay, kind of like a quantum leap all the way down we got to germinate it, then leap to 2, then leap to 4 to 8. We can't do nothing on our own. It's not by our might. That ego has nothing to do with it except to die. To be transformed, consumed, like God's shooting it, burning it up, transforming it from poop, from that reliance upon that old me, myself, and I, the brown, poopy color, that black ignorance of God, that poopy color, brown, thinking that comes from the paint, thinking, in your mind, it's got you so disillusioned to thinking, yeah, I'm the king of your heart. The me, myself, and I, what I think rules. In my kingdom, in your kingdom right here, the me, myself, is all, and I is all important. Wrong king. God, through doing all this relationship builder, is building his kingdom and enlightening you in the colors of light. That red, coming out of this poop stuff, he's showing you. The blue, increasing, impressing, satisfying God's requirements. And God's giving the increase in your fealty, your loyalty, your worshiping, your submitting to God's ways. Oh my goodness. And then the green, that fullness of life. Just like the chlorophyll and stuff in the plants, transform the energy from the sun into like food, fuel for life, and it's colored green. Now all those colors of enlightenment, primary, red, blue, and then green, coming together makes fullness of light in God. We're like coming from this spot that's covered, that seed in the face, seed of Christ. Down in each thought process, buried under that manure thinking of all that paint, all that yuck, all that poopy, that brown. But it starts out as just ignorant of God. It's trying every way in the world to deny God. That's just yuck. Repent from going that way. Change the way you think. Germinate it. And that's in the storms of your life. In the world. And it's orderly arranged within the mind of humanity, not outside stuff. Cosmos out here. We're talking in here. That's where it really matters. Get out of this outer court holy place. That's all important. No. That's just showing us, teaching us about what's really important in God. God's Alpha and Omega, the beginning. And he's all the way from the tiniest of tiniest of tiniest, all the way up to the biggest. The micros to the macros. God is the superior one. Don't believe that old carnal mind. It's just like in the natural, that dark energy and dark matter, and you notice it's dark ignorance. It's keeping you disguised, telling you a monster outside really doing all this stuff to you. While it's jabbing you, jamming you, shanking you, making shanks, little knives. Say this little, oh man, I'll stab my finger. It's stabbing the heck out of you. Shanking you. It's trying to kill your butt. Saying, I'm your buddy, I'm your friend. Oh. Oh. Let me stick it right in your neck. Huh? It's not your buddy, not your friend. Says, here's a lollipop. That means I'm your friend, right? Right? Here's a donut hole. Look, you can make it well. It's not some monster outside you. It's your own stinking thinking that you were subjected to, not willingly, but in hope. Right? And it's hope that God put in your faith, hope, and love. Hope is bringing you into more confidence that God is the greatest. Not a mad, messed up, mad scientist and doing all this stuff that your carnal mind tries to lead you to believe. Lead all of humanity to believe with that 666 thinking. Humanistic thinking, humanistic thinking, humanistic thinking. And see, it's in everybody's works, in their hand. 666. Shouldn't you go along with the flow? Master manipulator, right in your mind. You can't overcome it yourself, no way. But by greenlighting God whenever He's putting it, giving you opportunities, these storms are a good thing. And that fiery trials, it's a good thing. He's heating it up there so it can be surgically removed, so it can be skimmed off, chopped out, skimmed out, right? Another way of saying chopped out, it's like surgically removed in the precise, correct timing of God, precisely and correctly, way beyond anything that you could possibly even conceive. I gave you a little video thing, like a little bit of a thing where it's showing you to take out one little tiny, like grain of sand thought process, if you will. And expand it up to like from Earth to Alpha Centauri, and it's got like a 35,300 million trillion of those, and they're all black. And even the light, the seed of God, is black, hidden to you in your own carnality. You were subjected to that stuff, not willingly, but in hope, so that whenever you germinate it, your confidence is growing, and you greenlight God again. Boom. See, but you only germinate it. It's not by your might and your power, but it's by my spirit, says the Lord, right? Zechariah 4:6, right? It's not by your works, lest any man boast in himself. It's not your own stinking thinking doing it for you. That ego, your own edging God out stuff, if you will, your own filthy mistress thinking rags, your own dung thinking, your own heart of man, heart of mankind, desperately wicked and evil above all things, who can know it, right? It's trying to take you down this way and tell you, I'm your buddy, I'm your friend, and it's taking you right on down the crapper. Flush, 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 flush. Faster and faster, faster. Just like this dark energy out here is, man, it's going on into nothingness. And when the dark matter, it seems like it's pulling it in. It's a good thing. But it's black. It's ignorant of God's love. Both. Good, bad, the ugly. That's a good thing, right, man? Come pulling it in. Ignorance of God's way. Vomit it out. Is everything going out in nothing? You're independent of God's way? Nothing. Blech. Vomit it out. Don't take part in that stuff. We're talking in your mind. Don't care about this out. This outward stuff is just here for the using. It's all been in billions of years. Well, we couldn't possibly live that long in the natural, and this earth suit couldn't make it that long. Our children couldn't make it that long. Okay? God's in control. They're saying like anti-faith. Huh? They're like this anti-love dark energy. And that dark matter is pulling together, but it's anti too. Anti is the gravity of God. Because God, really in all those forces, strong and weak nuclear force, the electromagnetism, and gravity, it's got like a form of gravity, God's love in all of it, doing all those things. You want to get right down to it. It's the energy, the spirit of God. It's in control. It's showing you what's in here. God's sovereign. He's in control of all of it. You got to exercise that faith, that pistis, to bring it back to the truth of God. That God loves you beyond the mere description of words. Come back to his child, that child. But you don't want to do that by greenlighting God. Okay? Now in doing this, you're coming back to this harvest time. To your first day experience, second day, third day. And then the fourth day is when it's being reaped. Speaking of like reaping of the harvest. Right? Now this word harvest. See, first in there it says the ball thinking, ha. And this harvest, Thereisomos. Alright, see if I spell that. Therismos. 23:26. It's this word.
Strong's G 23:26. Therismos.
There is much love in this. God's bringing you back to where you can love as he loves. A little bit, a little bit, a little bit. Germinate it. There's a 1, and a 2, and a 4, and an 8, and a 16, 32, 64, 128. Huh? But you're resting in God, and it's increasing. Actually, you're slowed down, and you're resting this old ego, being down in that cesspool, in the outhouse of your incarnate mind, and you're coming up higher. You're letting that stuff die, and you're coming back to God, okay? Now, in this harvest time, let me try to keep this order a little bit. It's the act of reaping, harvest, okay? I'll cover this more later. It's reaping the crop. It's cutting it in and cleaning what it is. How much of that? It's like the heads of that grain. It's coming into with from the green, blue, and the red, and the lights coming together, making a white head. Yeah, a white little ball of your thinking. Purifying you, bring you back into the right mindedness of God, wearing the wedding garments of God. You can't get into that wedding of God, wedding supper of the Lamb, each thought process without having the right wedding garments. He's bringing you up to all these realms. Okay. God permits, I'm going to try to show you some of this. Okay. Now, in the Hebrew, in the Jewish culture back in the Bible, it's talking about there's these dry measures. Okay. How much stuff is, okay? Now there's the homer, the ephah, E-P-H-A-H, the seahs, S-E-A-H-S, okay? There's the omer, O-M-E-R, that's a sheaf. And then there's the unregenerated. Hasn't been regenerated, but it's still something down in there. God put it in there. It's that limited portion, that metron of faith. Like the seed of Christ, the seed of faith. It's bringing you back to the truth of God. Okay? Now, okay. Now, we're going to put like this homer, would be like one homer equals 10 ephah. Okay? So 1 ephah is 1/10 of a homer. and dry measure. Okay? And then 1 say is, it takes 30 say. 30 says. 30 of them little bitty grains been bound together to make 1/30th. So it's like 30% of one homer. Okay? And then an omer, or a sheaf, takes 100 omers to equal 1 say. Okay? And then that unregenerated is just way down there microscopic. I don't know how, it's not even started yet, but it's something down in there. It'd be like that one tiny, if we put it in that ball of our thinking, that one little dot expanding up there, it's like that one little grain of sand. Now a whole big ball is 35,300 million trillion grains of sand, like the unregenerated. Now every one of them, when it's gaining 1 to 2 to 4 to 8, it's coming back, taking all that blackness and enlightening it. God's putting His light, red, blue, and the green, bringing you back to light, to the fullness of light. But it's way down there. 1 to 2, So even coming back up to an omer, or a sheaf, which is 1/100th of a homer, HOMER, which is be like 100%. It's a long way to get to there. So how many levels or how many orders does God bring it up there? See, now whenever you do this, you're doubling that thing every time. This is 1 to 2 to 4 to 8. Remember, this is like makes it into like a radioactive element. This one to the black thinking. There's a definite distinction. That blackness cannot stand it. Ooh, they're enmity. That blackness and that brown poopy thinking. That blackness is wanting to call you with its red, blue, and yellow thinking in itself. Wants to stay king. It wants to make you poop. It wants to take your seeing, hearing, taste, touch, and smell, and leave that its own ego in there, and it becomes shit. All your thinking, whether it's good or bad, in carnality, that's against, actively hostile and opposed to you going back to and into God's right mindedness to the light, is shit. Dung. I count it all as dung for winning Christ. It's desperately wicked and evil above all things. Who can know it? Ooh, yuck, it's filthy, minstrel, stinking rags. Ooh, yuck, it's the nastiest of nastiest of nastiest. That tree of knowledge of good and evil, it shall, on the day that you eat thereof or partake of that, you shall surely die. What is carnality? To be carnally minded is death, separation from God. But you don't have to be separated. Agree like God, agree with God. When He's calling out to you, like in that big old, that stuff's wrong, 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 come back to Daddy God. It's echoing down in there. A still small voice becomes louder the more you listen to it. This stuff, these little grains, when you germinate it, it's 1, now it's getting louder, and 2, louder, 4 to 8, more like a radioactive element that's eating all that fleshly thinking of that black ignorance of God. It's eating it all there. Given that is like the ammo for that ace gunfighter. Bow! And it's zapping it out and transforming it into more fuel. So it's bringing you up like in a rocket ship, up to God's superior way of thinking. You're focused on God, not on this stuff. You're living in this radioactive element of God. See, you can't touch this. Boom. You're becoming radioactive to that old stinking fleshly thinking. No wonder that fleshly thinking in yourself and in others can't always stand to be around you. Because you destroy all that bullshit thinking. That worthless and detestable stuff. Just your very presence being radioactive element. And it's growing stronger and stronger and stronger, and you don't have to go out and blah, 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 blah. Like the old horse, that old horse nature, beast nature, and you the donkey, the parakeet, stinky snake, that barking alpha dog, bark, 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 bark. You don't need all that stuff. Let that stuff die. Die to yourself. It's no longer I that lives, but it's Christ that lives in me. And it's radioactive to that fleshly thinking. And it's causing simultaneous splitting of those atoms, like those thought processes, with a great release of power, and infusing together the light of God. It's getting rid of this paint thinking, and it's fusing God, red, blue, and green together, and enlightening you. It's way beyond natural means. Natural means, man, you can't do that. You can't split out and put them together. You crazy. Carnal-mindedness telling you. Don't believe that. It's behind the king of your heart, of your mind. God is. Stick with it. Live, exist, habitually practice, being in Christ, land of Goshen, drawing near to God. It's no longer I, that ego that lives, but it's Christ that lives in me. Pray continually, be in that attitude of prayer. I am. It's in, but I am. And with relation to resting in God, and you'll come back to SYN, union with God. It's got to come up through all these realms. I hope to show you these. This might take a couple of recordings here, okay? I'll probably go ahead and put it on this so I can just keep going, okay? Now, as you're coming up through there, germinate 1 to 2 to 40. See, it's not only affecting this ball, it's a one thought process. It's affecting other balls in your mind. And then as it becomes bigger and you become more of a radioactive element, it's affecting other people's minds. Whether you speak, whether you're not, just your presence. God does it. That grace. Charis, Charis. The divine influence, God's influence in your heart, in your mind, in those thought processes, and its reflection out into your lifestyle, including gratitude, fealty to God, loyalty, worshiping God, prostrating yourself. Oh my goodness, submitting to God's ways. You become more and more and more tightly locked, focused, like that sing wideness of a dove, focused on God, and you just do what you got to do. Like the protons, focused on God. And the neutrons in the nucleus of the atom, they're bound together by God, held together. The neutrons just living their life, existing. And the protons focus on God, it's increasing, and it's held together by the strong nuclear force. And you got that weak nuclear force taking care of all this radioactivity going on, whipping the tar out of all this black stuff. It's affecting it in yourself, and it's doing it outside. Things you don't even know about. Affecting people that you haven't ever even met, really. And maybe you've been around here, heard about you, done something. Maybe you just passing through the road and look at you thinking, what's different about you? It may be, we don't know. God's ways are way above our ways. God's omnipresent. He's everywhere at once. I just think he can do what he wants. He's omnipotent. He's all-powerful. He's omniscient. He knows it all. He's the Alpha and Omega, beginning and end, the A to Z. First and last. I, the Lord, the same always. I change not. The Lord changes not. We just exist in that land of Goshen that's just growing and it's welding and growing bigger and bigger and bigger inside your mind. It'll overtake all this stuff that seems insurmountable You won't stop believing that in your mind that it's all darkness and it's doom and gloom. It's going on into nothing. It's colder and colder. Or if it is going to get this good thing, it's ignorance. Quit trusting in your own me, myself, and I, your might and your power. It's death. It's all poop. Get out of that cesspool. Quit making donut holes and all the stuff. Being married to that thing, having sex with it, gargling, submerging yourself. Thinking of having a gay old time, a happy time down in there. In your own cesspool of your carnal mind. That's really fun, isn't it? No, it's not. To he that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. One God's calling out inside there saying, that's wrong, wrong, wrong. Be reasonable. Come back to me, my child. It's right in you. Germinate it. 1 to 2 to 4, because you got 2 different ways. There's 2 in your earth, just like this binary code. 2 to the 0 power, a 1. 2 to the first power, a 2. 2 to the second power, a 4. 2 to the third power, 2 times 2 times 2, 8. 2, a base of 2. 2 in your earth, 2 in your field. 2 in this open expanse that's going desolate, dark, yuck. The world's going to hell in a handbasket. Don't believe that stuff. Your earthly thinking has got the chance, the hope that come back to the truth of God. This love, this conditional love comes back to the love of God, the love that's beyond the mere description of words. And this faith, the faith that pistis has come back to the truth of God. God is the greatest. God is your exceeding great reward. The great I am, the self-existent one. Now, exist in it. Let him become a radioactive element to that fleshly thinking. Not saying, here, go get this plutonium and put it in your pocket. You big dummy, don't do that. You can get plutonium naturally or uranium or none of that stuff. But I'm talking about this in your mind. It's like becoming radioactive. That Christ is radioactive to all this. He's like shooting that stuff out as you're gaining more and more and more bullets for each encounter in these storms of your life. So he can shoot that stuff out and take you through the eye of the needle and give you increase. All that God has given you, plus this one that the ace gunfighter is giving you. And then it's doing all the work. Bop, 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 bop. Like the spark plug. Try to run your lawnmower without a spark plug in it. You can pull, trying to start it, or crank that starter till your battery runs dead. You can hook it up to another outside source, like trying to jump it off a car or something like that, or off a jump starter all day long. You can't start it without. You can't run it. Yeah. You're not going to be successful if you got it started. As soon as you disconnect that thing, go out and try to use that lawnmower to mow your grass, dies. You can't, if you were able to, you got to have that spark plug of Christ in you. There's no alternative other way to God. You got to do it Christ's way. Green light, God. Alright, now in doing this, we're going to get going on this here a little bit. You're coming out of this stranger. I got these color coded: red, yellow, and then orange and green. Okay, I didn't put one per se. That's at like 30. And a homer being like a 1, a ephah being 10. And then I got 30 per se, but we're going to that's one we're just going to kind of not deal with right at the moment, okay? And Omer It's 100. And then that red would be like that 1 of 35,300 million trillion. You're not even generated. Okay? It's tiny as it can get. Okay? Now, I'll get into this more, but you're coming from the least to the greatest in God, and you're marrying God. Coming out of this metron, this limited portion, 3358, all right, in Romans 12, chapter 12, verse 3. And I got 13 translated 13 times in 11 verses, okay? I might read you some of those later. Okay, you're coming out of this stranger realm, okay? Red way. Up to the yellow way, the acquaintance, realm, in your thinking, yellow-bellied sapsucker, chicken. You turn away from God's way, at least so anything goes wrong. Oh no, you revert back. Up to the friend realm, coming up to Ephah, coming back into the bride realm. Attached marrying God. Oh my goodness, the green. So we come from the red, the yellow, the orange, and the green. Oh my goodness, this is a picture coming from the least to the greatest in your relationship, in this relationship builder. And there's many, 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 many levels in there. This one thought process. Have a great day. I'll continue on the next one. All right, this is the harvest time. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.